Rapper Kid Cudi is now on the stand in the Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial. He reportedly had a brief relationship with Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura nearly 15 years ago.
What are you expecting today?
Grammy award-winning rapper Kid Cudi entered the New York City courtroom where Diddy Combs is on trial for a third week.
So far in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Diddy Combs, we have heard testimony from big-name celebrities linked to the now disgraced music mogul. His ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, better known as the singer Cassie. Cassie's ex, the rapper known as Kid Cudi, who Combs allegedly targeted out of jealousy.
Diddy Combs, one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop, now faces some of the most serious federal charges seen in the music industry: racketeering and sex trafficking. Central to the prosecution's case is testimony from Kid Cudi, the Grammy-winning rapper whose relationship with Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, has put him right in the eye of the storm. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll explore the intense and complex layers of Kid Cudi's testimony, the raw emotional moments, the heated courtroom drama, and the conflicting reactions from the celebrity world. This case is not just about one man. It's about the collision of fame, power, and the dark realities beneath the glitz of Hollywood. As the jury hears evidence and witnesses, the public watches with bated breath. What impact will Kid Cudi's words have? Will the defense dismantle his credibility, or will his testimony strengthen the prosecution's case against one of hip-hop's biggest names? Stay tuned as we unravel the truth behind the headlines and courtroom footage.
Grammy award-winning rapper Kid Cudi entered the New York City courtroom where Diddy Combs is on trial for a third week. He testified about his brief relationship with Cassie Ventura, Combs' ex-girlfriend, who the disgraced rap mogul is accused of repeatedly abusing. Kid Cudi detailed a break-in at his California home that happened after Diddy found out he and Ventura were dating. And on another occasion, Kid Cudi's car was set on fire with a Molotov cocktail. Ventura testified earlier in the trial that Diddy had threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car. While the rapper suspected Diddy was behind both, no one has been charged in either of those cases.
Certainly, prosecutors have been quite successful so far in establishing patterns of violent behavior by Combs.
Combs has been charged with both racketeering and sex trafficking. Prosecutors have been working to establish a pattern.
The defense is saying, look, this was just an abusive relationship, but it doesn't go into sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is the difference between consent and coercion, right? If there's force, if there's coercion, then it becomes sex trafficking.
Earlier Thursday, the jury also heard from Combs' former personal assistant. George Kaplan said he witnessed Combs violently attack Ventura aboard a private jet. After Kid Cudi, a makeup artist who worked with both Ventura and Combs, took the stand, describing more alleged abuse by Combs. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Our thanks to Connor Hansen for that update, and to continue the conversation on, and now I want to bring in legal affairs journalist Megan Cuniff. Megan, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. We know that you've been following this trial very closely, posting all of those updates to your X account. First of all, what was your reaction to seeing that Kid Cudi, the rapper, so many people love him all around the nation and the world, took the stand today in this trial?
I thought it was expected given the role that the firebombing of his car, the Molotov cocktailing of his car plays in this indictment. It is mentioned there, and then we did hear him mentioned in Cassie's testimony. But of course, Cassie didn't get in to the any actual testimony about what happened with the car or whether the car actually burned. So it made sense that he would be coming up as a witness who would testify to, was his car actually burned? Did it catch fire? Which is what he did.
Absolutely. And we also heard from Kid Cudi today. I want to play out his response here. Just get your reaction as well. Let's listen.
Kid Cudi's testimony reveals a deeply troubling picture of violence and intimidation allegedly perpetrated by Diddy Combs. He spoke of a terrifying incident when Diddy broke into his Los Angeles home after learning about his relationship with Cassie Ventura, an ex-girlfriend of Diddy's. This invasion violated Kid Cudi's personal sanctuary and left him shaken. Not long after, in a brazen act of intimidation, his Porsche was set ablaze with a Molotov cocktail. While no charges have been filed directly against Diddy for these acts, the prosecution uses these episodes to paint a pattern of coercive and violent behavior essential to their racketeering case. This testimony also highlights the intense personal conflicts intertwined with the larger criminal allegations. Relationships, jealousy, and control all intersecting in a high-stakes drama unfolding under the public eye. For Kid Cudi, stepping into the courtroom wasn't just a legal obligation. It was a moment of reckoning, forced to confront a powerful figure with whom he once shared a close circle.
All right, Megan, let's talk about this a little bit more, because even in the rap community, let's talk about the culture as far as getting on the stand. They could even see that as snitching. So it's interesting to me that Kid Cudi, of course, he was subpoenaed there. He could have taken the opportunity to take the fifth. But can you sort of speak to that and sort of what we've seen in the past with some of these high-profile trials?
I mean, I'm not sure he could take the fifth, because I'm not sure he's really facing any criminal exposure over the fact that his car was set on fire. But he seemed to have a real maturity there, in that he understands that this whole snitching thing is for 11-year-olds or for people who act like 11-year-olds. I mean, he's obviously willing to testify in court and put his name behind what happened. So, I mean, I guess, yes, that is snitching under the term, but he seems to understand that he's an adult. We live in an adult world, and this all isn't just, you know, internet fun and games. I mean, he seemed to you know, own up to his testimony and have a mature approach to the thing. So we'll see how big of a role this plays in the case. It's one overt act. The arson, the torching of his car is part of the racketeering conspiracy, and there's so many other overt acts that are part of this. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly the verdict form looks like and what the jurors are going to be asked. If they're usually how it goes is these overt acts are listed and they're asked to say whether one is proven or not proven, or true or not true. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly that looks like and what kind of role his testimony ends up playing.
The defense team employed a calculated strategy aimed at undermining Kid Cudi's credibility. They suggested that Cassie Ventura, the prosecution's key witness and Diddy's ex, was involved consensually with both men, attempting to paint her as a manipulative figure whose testimony might be exaggerated or unreliable. By focusing on the complex personal relationships and the mutual interactions among Cassie, Kid Cudi, and Diddy, the defense sought to introduce doubt in the jury's minds about whether coercion and trafficking were really at play or merely a series of tumultuous private relationships. The lawyers probed inconsistencies and challenged Kid Cudi's portrayal of events, questioning his motives and timing. This pushback reflects a broader courtroom battle, not only the facts of the case, but the perceptions of trustworthiness and character of the witnesses. As these high-profile personalities collide in court, the jury must navigate between raw emotional testimony and legal technicalities.
Yeah, I was going through the trial transcript here, and Steele was really getting into the nature of his relationship with Cassie and emphasizing that, yeah, he was surprised to learn that Cassie was still seeing Diddy. And he said, yes, the question was, did she play you? And he said, yes. But I think his overall point is the whole point of this is to try to discredit Cassie and make it sound like her relationship with Combs is being exaggerated in her testimony. And they actually called a sidebar, and the benefit of me getting the transcript is I can read what happened in the sidebar, and when you're in the courtroom you don't get that. And the judge was asking Steele, like, what is the point of this? And that's what he was saying. He was wanting to say that, you know, supposedly Cassie was in such a non-consensual relationship with Combs, but then at the same time she's in a consensual relationship with Cudi, and he's trying to make her out to be, you know, kind of the conniving one that you can't trust. But I think that, remember, the whole point of that is he wants the jurors to somehow discredit all of her testimony, which I'm not sure if the fact that, you know, Cudi answered yes, she played us both. I'm not sure how far that will go in doing that, but, you know, it was a win. It was a small win, I guess, for the defense.
It was certainly interesting, but you were talking about some of those photos, putting up this tweet we have from TMZ. Megan, I saw you posted these as well. It's crazy to see some of these photos because we've heard about this alleged Molotov cocktail blowing up his car, but now the government is exhibiting that in the courtroom. This comes as Cudi also testified, calling him a supervillain, almost like a Marvel supervillain. Interesting rhetoric, though, to use, Megan.
Yes, he was talking about this meeting that he arranged with Combs after he discovered his car burned. He said their managers arranged this meeting at the Soho House in Los Angeles, and he was taken into this room where he saw Diddy sitting there. He said one wall was entire glass mirror and Diddy was in front of it, and he said he just looked like this Marvel supervillain. So not being in the courtroom, I mean, it's hard to know how exactly that played out in front of the jury, but just given everything that we've been hearing, remember Diddy's team has really made this out to be, this is a domestic violence case, a toxic relationship, it's his own private sex life. But I think what the jurors are seeing, you know, everyone has a private sex life. I think this is going a little bit beyond maybe anything that they're used to, you know, the firebombing of a car, that kind of thing.
The prosecution faces the challenge of proving Diddy operated a criminal enterprise, a key requirement for racketeering charges. Legal experts underscore the difficulty of linking individual acts, like violence or drug use, into a broader conspiracy. Witnesses like Kid Cudi and Cassie aim to demonstrate that these acts were part of an orchestrated, ongoing operation, not isolated incidents. The trial will test whether jurors can connect the dots between personal relationships, acts of abuse, and alleged trafficking. Moreover, the defense will emphasize the voluntary nature of these relationships to fight claims of coercion. The outcome will rest heavily on how the jury interprets this complex web of evidence.
It's not a shocker that big names have come up in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. He is an A-list celebrity. He hung out with A-list celebrities throughout his career. But then the name Obama came up in the courtroom, and that was one we didn't expect. Usher and Neo, that caught a lot of people's attention this week. They were brought up because of actual events that they allegedly attended, where Sean Combs is accused of assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Former Danity Kane member Don Richard testified that in 2010 in West Hollywood, California, she saw Combs punch Ventura in the stomach at a restaurant. It happened at a dinner that she claims several big celebrities were at. During cross-examination, the defense asked Richard to name the celebs who were there, and she answered, quote, Usher was there, Jimmy Levine was there, Neo came through. There were a few others too. I don't recall those people, but those are the ones I remember talking to. Usher and Combs go way back. Usher lived with Diddy in New York when he was just a teenager starting his music career. Neo, a Grammy award-winning singer in his own right, he has been close to Combs for a long time. He has publicly been in Combs' social circles. Jimmy Levine co-founded Interscope Records. He's a big name, a powerful name in the music industry. Richard didn't say the three of them witnessed the alleged assault that she talked about, but she did say that they were there at that dinner. But Barack Obama, his name came up in a way you might not have expected, and it has to do with Diddy's alleged drug use. Before we get back to the breakdown of what we've heard and seen so far in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, I want to bring you a law and crime legal alert. If you received a Depo-Provera birth control shot and you were later diagnosed with a spinal or brainal tumor called meningioma, you may be eligible for a lawsuit. Morgan & Morgan is investigating claims that patients were not properly warned about this risk. It's free to check, takes just a few minutes, and you don't pay unless they win. So scan the QR code on your screen, click the link in the description, or go to www.forthepeople.com/LCDEPO to see if you qualify. One of Diddy's former assistants, David James, testified that he used to pick up drugs for Combs and friends of Combs. James said that he once saw Diddy take a pill of ecstasy that had a former president's face on it. The prosecutor asked which president, and James replied, Obama. Drugs have become a key part of the government's case against Sean Diddy Combs.
The trial has deeply divided opinion within Hollywood and among fans. Kanye West publicly voiced regret over Kid Cudi's testimony, standing in support of Diddy and expressing loyalty to the mogul. In stark contrast, rapper 50 Cent took a sarcastic, mocking tone toward the courtroom drama, reflecting the mixed and often hostile nature of public discourse. Social media platforms are flooded with impassioned debates. Some defenders highlight Diddy's legacy and question the accusations, while critics demand accountability. This polarization underscores the trial's emotional and cultural significance beyond the courtroom.